Guys, welcome back to my channel. Can you believe that 2018 is over? Like in a couple of hours, it's going to be a whole new year. And I know we all on our new year, new me. Everybody's about to be living their best lives. We making our resolutions. We're stopping old habits. We're starting new habits. There's just so much that we want to do, right? And I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about depression. Dum, dum, dum. And I know no one really wants to talk about it, and I know it can really bring the mood down, but at the same time, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity while everyone's talking about the old habits they're going to break, the new habits they're going to make. I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for me to share my experience with depression and to also give you guys 9 tips that I personally, and that was probably backwards because I am using the front camera on my iPhone, but 9 tips that I implemented into my life that was so beneficial in helping me to overcome my depression, in helping me to get to a point to where I could cope, where I could be a productive mother and a productive sister and employee and friend and daughter, where I got back to feeling like myself. Right, and I think it's important to know that depression is not a respecter of age. It's not a respecter of gender, social status. Depression really does not care where you came from or who your mama and daddy is, okay? It's something that can affect everyone, and it looks different for everyone. So I think it's important to start with that so that you know that depression is not what the TV may tell us, someone who's in a dark room, can't get out of bed, dressed in all black. That's not always depression, okay? Depression has many faces. It could be lack of sleep. It could be inability to maintain your relationships. It could be spazzing out on people. It could be overeating. It could be undereating. It could be taking pain meds. It could be smoking too much weed. It could be drinking. Like, depression looks different on everybody. And I think that it's important that we understand that. So now that we got that out the way, I think I want to let you guys know exactly, I think, when I realized I was depressed, right? So I know everyone is different, but for me, I was depressed for almost like 2.5 years, and it was bad. And I know that my depression started when I had an abortion. And I get it. Some people like, girl, an abortion, you had to do what you had to do. You couldn't take care of another child and, this or that. And I'll make another video that really kind of goes into why I had an abortion, my experience with abortion and all of those things. But that's the story for another time. But for me, I was one of those people that was so pro-life. Like, I judged people who had abortions. I was like, you're the worst person in the world. How could you do this? I was one of those people who really kind of had this idea that there is no excuse to have an abortion. But that's really how we are in life, right? We always say what we won't do until we're actually forced to do it. Or not even forced, because I wasn't forced, but I thought it was the best decision at that time. So I was so pro-life until I had to make the choice to take life. And that really caused me to get into this really, really, really dark space. And I felt like for a couple of months, I looked like what people tell us depression looks like. Like, I was in a room crying, always sad. I just felt so alone. I was having trouble connecting with my other children. It was just overall like a really bad experience. Like, it was just not a good experience. And after I came out of that phase of like not being able to, get out of bed, not being able to maintain relationships, then I went to self-destructing. I was partying, I was drinking, I was smoking, I was just basically doing any and everything, having meaningless relationships. I was doing anything to help me like numb the pain, to feel better. And the thing about that is I have a lot of people around me who love me, and that could only carry on for so long before it was people kind of getting on me like, hey, you need to get help. You got some stuff going on. You have to deal with that, which prompted me to really start to kind of fake happy. Right, and that's when I started to pretend like I was dealing with my issues, and I started to kind of pretend like I had it under control and that I was better and that I had healed and forgiven myself, but that was not really the case. I was actually only faking, but in that time, I decided you know what, I'm actually going to get help. I decided to actually seek help, and I decided to actually go to a therapist, right? So when I went to a therapist, she gave me skills. I started to do more reading. I started to do more, like taking classes, just watching YouTube videos. And I started to implement certain things into my life to help me overcome this depression. So that is basically what I want to share with you today. I want to give you guys some tips that I implemented in my own life that helped me battle and kick depression's ass. So if you're interested in these tips, please stay tuned now. So tip 1, acknowledge that you are depressed, right? You have to be able to admit to yourself that you're suffering from depression. You have to be able to admit to yourself that you are not in the best mental space, that you're not feeling like yourself, that you're not happy, and you owe it to yourself. And it's okay to admit that you're not happy and that you're not okay. I know that there's a stigma around depression, and some people think it makes you weak, like you can't handle things. And everyone who is depressed is not having suicidal thoughts. So you don't have to wait until you feel that, oh, now I want to take my own life, that I'm actually depressed. Like, it doesn't have to get that bad. Like I told you before, depression comes in all different forms. There's all different type of ways to be depressed. So the most important thing is acknowledging that you are depressed. Acknowledge that you are depressed, and then seek someone to talk to. Find someone who can help you, whether it be a family member, whether it be a therapist. I honestly found so much peace in going to someone who was unbiased, who didn't have any preconceived notions about me, and who genuinely I felt like wanted to help me. They asked me questions that helped direct the conversation in a way to help me discover exactly what it is that I was dealing with. It helped me to find the root of what my issue was, what was causing me to get into this depression. So I think it is so important that you find someone that you can talk to. Find someone that is going to help you get through this. Someone that can kind of, like a sponsor, someone that can, a therapist, a friend, a family, anybody. Find someone to talk to. Step 2, monitor your relationships, right? So the people that you hang around with, you have to be very mindful of their energy. Monitor the way you feel when they come around. Monitor the way you feel when they leave. Monitor how you feel when you even think about that person. If there is somebody that you notice that every time they come around, you feel worse than you felt before they came around, it's time that you distance yourself from someone. I don't care if it's their family or friends or anything. And I'm not saying that you can never talk to that person again. But what I am saying is that you have to protect your peace at all costs. You have to, kind of cut down the time you spend with that person. Don't give them all of your attention. Kind of find ways to distance yourself from that person, because ultimately you are responsible for your mental well-being. It's your responsibility to make sure that you're protecting your peace from any and everybody. So definitely monitor your relationships. Get out of toxic relationships. Get out of relationships that are mentally or verbally abusive. You have to get away from those things in order to kind of be able to become stronger to defeat your depression. Step 3, set some goals, right? And these goals that you're setting, for me, I set goals that were obtainable, goals that did not depend on someone else, goals that I could actually track the progress of. And what this did in setting these goals and being able to accomplish them, and they were small goals, it helped to build my confidence. It helped to build my self-esteem. It helped me to focus my mind on something other than my depression. It helped me to have something to feel like I was going to accomplish. Because honestly, when I was depressed, when I was at my lowest, I felt like I wasn't good at anything. It did not matter what I did. It didn't matter if I was working out. It didn't matter if I was cooking or playing with my children. I always found something bad, about what I was doing. I felt like I was doing it wrong or anything like that. So when you set little goals that you can accomplish, For me, it was like I want to fold my clothes. Like I want to put my clothes up after I wash them and fold them because I hate doing that. And so when I would do it, it actually made me feel accomplished. It made me feel like, and that's something small, but again, that's the point. You want a small, manageable goal, something that's obtainable, something that does not depend on anyone else, something that you can monitor and track the progress of, and something that actually makes you feel good, something that you actually want to accomplish, right? Step 4 is probably one of my most helpful ones, which is journaling and meditation. I would journal every morning, and when I would journal, I lied. I did not journal every morning. I journal most mornings. And when I did journal, it was in the morning time, it was just really me setting my intent for the day. It was me talking about what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, who I wanted to, if there was a particular person on my mind that I wanted to make sure to say something to, or, I would pick a word for the day, whether it be peace or happiness or laughter. I would just pick a word every day to kind of help me focus in on something, to kind of have something to look forward to throughout the day. And then at night, I would journal and just recap. And my nighttime journal was more of like bullet points, things that I remember throughout the day, emotions that I felt throughout the day and why I felt those emotions, questions that I had, whether it would be like, why do I continue to talk to this person if they make me feel this way? And I would ask myself thought-provoking questions. And not only would I journal on paper, I would also journal through video. So I would just put my phone up, set it up like I have it now, and I would just talk to myself. I would talk about how I was feeling, why I was feeling that way. And I would just kind of, in that way, I was becoming my own therapist. And then when it came to meditating, I'm one of those people before, I thought meditation was a whole bunch of, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Like, I was really thinking it was a whole lot of, but what I did learn is that is not all that meditation is. Those are forms of meditation, but meditation is really just breathing, paying attention to your breath, slowing your thoughts down, focusing in on something, and just kind of centering yourself. And it sounds, I know it don't sound like all, but it's literally one of the best things that I've implemented to my life. Like, a lot of us have iWatches. I don't have mine on right now, but our iWatches have that breathe feature. That is an actual helpful tool. Like, if you would actually do it whenever it goes off, it's 1 minute. You have a minute to stop and breathe. It makes a difference. There have been times where that watch has gone off and I've literally been feeling like I was just so aggravated, and I did the little breathing exercise and felt so much better. Journaling and meditation are ways to kind of just slow you down. Just slow you down and focus in on something and be able to get out thoughts and take inventory of your thoughts and how you're feeling to kind of deal with them. Tip number 5, get a hobby. And the hobby that you get something that is healthy, not something that is destructive. If your hobby is hitting the pipe, you need to get another hobby, okay? So, like, for me, I like to watch YouTube videos, honestly. I enjoy watching makeup tutorials. Even though I barely wear any makeup, I honestly really like to watch the videos because it just, I don't know, they make me happy. I like to cook. I've actually found a lot of peace in having a glass of wine, playing some music, and trying a new recipe. So just get you something, and it could be as big as you want it to be or as small as you want it to be. Preferably something that you can kind of do every day for 30 minutes a day, something that just makes you feel good. Something that, again, that you can focus on, that can kind of take your mind off of being depressed. Something that can help you feel more accomplished and feel better about yourself. Tip number 6, exercise. Eat right. Take care of your physical appearance. Brush your hair. I know for me, when I got really depressed, there was a point where I would never comb my hair and I would just wear a hat every single day. And it's cool, you know, I'm not saying, because I'm not one of those people that wants to wear a bunch of makeup and all have all the bundles and all this and that. But take pride in how you look. Make sure your clothes look presentable. Make sure you just ain't out here looking any and every kind of way. Take pride in how you look. Exercising 3 times a week, even if it's just a 30-minute walk, is so beneficial. Taking, you know, eating better. I notice that when I eat a whole lot of fast food, I honestly feel very like, ugh, I do not feel good. I feel very heavy and weighed down and sluggish. But the better I eat, honestly, the better I feel. So I do think that our diets and our health plays a big part on our mental health as well. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself, both physically, mentally, emotionally. Tip number 7, serve others. I found that it was very useful for me to give my time helping someone else overcome something. Because what I do know is that we've all been through something. We've all struggled with a situation. We've all overcome something. So we all have a story to tell. And there's always a way that we can help someone else feel better. For me, it was laughter. I feel like I'm a funny person 90% of the time. So it's very easy for me to make someone laugh. So when I was giving my time and my energy to helping someone else feel better, or to mentoring someone else, or helping someone else with a project or anything like that, it honestly kind of took my mind off of the fact that I was depressed. And don't get me wrong, taking your mind off of the fact that you're depressed does not negate the fact that you have issues that you need to deal with. You still have to deal with those issues, but at the same time, you cannot let it control your life. You still have to be productive. And one of the ways I found to do that is to help someone else. Take my mind off of myself. And actually, there's healing in helping other people. There's been plenty of times that I've been able to heal from a situation just from helping someone else. So, help someone. Tip number 8, forgive yourself. Whatever you did, why you did it, who you did it with, who you did it for, forgive yourself. As long as you hold it against you, the longer you hold it against you, the longer you're going to stay in this rut. You have to let it go. It's done. What's done is done. God has already forgiven us. I don't know who you believe in, but God has already forgiven you. It's done. So let it go. I feel that the more compassion you have for yourself, the higher your self-esteem, the higher your self-respect for yourself, the better you feel about yourself. But as long as you continue to beat yourself up, as long as you continue to beat yourself down, you will honestly stay down. You know, if anyone else is going to encourage you, you should be your first encourager. Give yourself grace. Cut yourself some slack. Shit happens. It is what it is. You can't take it back. I can't take back the abortion. It's done. That baby's gone. I can never get that back. So it does me no justice to spend the rest of my life beating myself up for a decision that I can't erase. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. It's so important. Just let it go. You know. And our last tip, tip number 9, I feel is the most important tip. Most important tip. Love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Where you are right now, in the position you're in, with the job you have, with the amount of money in your bank account, with the weight you have, with how you look, with who you're with. Like, love yourself with who you are right now. Loving who you are right now does not mean that you cannot still have ambitions and goals to want to be somebody better. Loving yourself right now does not mean you're accepting that this is where you'll always be. It just means that you're saying that right now, if nothing changes, that I love who I am. Change what you can. Change what you need to. Fix what you need to and fix what you can about yourself. But learn to love who you are. Celebrate the good things about yourself. Whatever it is that you like about yourself, celebrate those things on the regular. Compliment yourself. Date yourself. Teach yourself. Whatever it is that makes you feel good about you, do those things. It's so important to love yourself. By any means, love yourself. This is going to be a new year. right? 2019, we all say this, new year, new me. I get it. And it's us just really being optimistic. And I think we always all hope to have this year that we dream of at the beginning of the year. But what I do know is that if we focus, if we have a plan, if we have a vision, if we have a goal, I know that whatever resolutions we set out to have in 2019, we can actually bring them to fruition. But we have to be consistent. We have to help each other. We have to encourage each other. We have to share our stories. We have to share our knowledge. And we can honestly do everything, but we can't do it alone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of my 9 tips of how I coped with depression. I know that there's so much, my videos have such a long way to go as far as editing and getting better and all of these things. But I really appreciate you guys if you watch through the whole video. I really appreciate you guys if you subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. Leave any comments below. I would love to interact with you guys. But down below, I have in the description box, I have entered all of my social media handles if you want to keep in contact with me. I'm going to be posting videos every Monday, possibly every Wednesday as well. But for now, every Monday, you will get a video from me. I actually also do a podcast and a blog, which I will post down below as well. But guys, 2019 is tomorrow. And I hope that everyone has an amazing year. I hope that every resolution that you say that you are going to do, I hope you do what you say you are going to do. Peace. See you next year.